what's up? How you doing? From wherever you're catching me from, Luze Andrew Anderson is my name. Super excited, of course, to be here. Just like how we always do it. Every day we always here. We did some IRL during the day, and we were just with Tyler having some simple chat, and super excited, of course, to be here. So I want to start by saying good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I always want to put up some monitors where I can be watching to see if the signal is good. So I want to say, what's up? How you doing? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you are catching me from. This is Luze Andrew Anderson, and I want to start by saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night. It just doesn't matter, of course, where you're catching me up. So, yeah, today is another day. Of course, every day. That's what I always want to do every day. At least I want us to have some long chat, more so if it's at night. Today is a Friday, of course, the 10th of July. And we've started at exactly 11:03. That is the time that we've started off. So as long as you are there and you are watching in, I want to say thank you very much for watching through. This is Luze Andrew Anderson. And today, there's a topic that I really felt like I wanted to talk to because during daytime, of course, I was with Tyler, and he was asking, by the way, he keeps asking me a lot of questions. Yeah. If I'm with him, he asks almost about everything. So today, we were here seated, and then he was like, Daddy, we go camera, we go record, we go record. He knows when I'm recording. He gets to know that now I'm recording. So because most of the times when I'm recording, I always tell him to keep quiet. Yeah. So today he was here and then he was like, Daddy, we record, we record, we record. So we just did a random video. We did a live stream. I think it took like how many minutes? Like 47 minutes. We did that during daytime. But there is something that really I've been thinking about, since like a couple of days. And this is us giving birth to the kids that we can take care of. Yeah, most of the times, girls think that if a man is willing to have kids, yeah, then it is very okay for them to just have kids anyhowly. You find a lady giving birth to like 5 kids from maybe different parents because their dad said it's okay to have kids. If you cannot take care of your kids as a lady, yeah, as a lady, if you cannot take care of your kids as a lady, minus the man or minus their fathers, just don't have kids. Just don't have kids. You know, the greatest thing we can always do for our kids, yeah, is to give them time and to be with them. You nurture them. They grow when they have their mothers and fathers in their lives. Because look at it in this scenario. You have kids because now you are in love, of which I told you never have kids because of love. Never get married because of love. Because things can always change at any time. At any time. So when this man leaves you, and because you thought he could take care of your kids, yeah, so now he's not in the picture. Or maybe, God forbid, he dies. So what next? You gave birth to maybe 3 kids, 4 kids, and now you cannot take care of those kids. So it becomes a little bit hard. It is going to be hard on you, and it's going to be very hard on the kids. Yeah. So there's a specific channel. It is on TikTok. By the way, I'll go there. I'll go there and I show you some of the clips there. And I always look at these strict kids. Let me tell you, the genesis of your, having really a bad lifestyle starts when you have kids. When you are alone, you can always take care of yourself when you are alone because, you can go get fast foods, just like what I was saying yesterday. You can go and have fast foods and it is okay. You can, like in Uganda, we have what we call Rolex. Yeah, we have what we call Rolex, or you can call it Commando. You can go get your Rolex, get your Commando, and it is fine and life can go on. So now what is so really absurd is like you giving a life. At the end of the day, you're not going to be in their lives, yeah? Maybe you're going to leave, you go hustle, make more money, which is really true. But now, because the guy came and because you loved him so much, now you feel it is okay, for you to have kids. So you end up having kids. Maybe you're jobless, maybe you don't have any skill, and now you have like 2 of them, and then maybe this man disappears, or if he has not disappeared, maybe he abandons you. If he hasn't abandoned you, maybe he dies. And at the end of the day, the whole responsibility is falling on the shoulders of the mother. So you see how it is going to become the same when it comes even to guys. Have kids, you can take care of. it is really a very bad experience. It is really very bad, you know, having these kids, and you're not giving them support and you're not nurturing them, but all in the name of having kids. I watched a video some time back, and someone was saying that back then, when our parents used to give birth to 20 kids, 21 kids, 17 kids, is because the resources were really different from the resources that we are having now. He talked about, he said that then, of course, there was a lot of land, and of course, people by then, the economy. I don't know if I should use the word economy. The economy was fair, that you could find a dad doing one job, but they could afford. Yeah, they could do one job, but they could afford to buy land, to buy houses, to make these kids go to school, and it was only the dad working. So now things have changed. You cannot have one job, and you're supposed to pay for rent, you're supposed to buy that car, you're supposed to buy that land, that house, you're supposed to take these kids at school, you're supposed to bring food at home, you're supposed to all these things, and when you only have one job. So currently that could be really very hard, it could really be very hard. So that's why even some parents decided to go into, both parents working, because the economy changed and it's not like the way it used to be. And when people, because of our cultures, they keep telling us, our clan is having a few people, so you have to do us the honor, to have more kids. But at the end of the day, that's not how things work. Why give birth, to the kids you cannot take care of? Now you're sending them to relatives. I'm going to be showing you this channel, yeah? I'm going to be showing you this channel. I've been following it for quite some time, and I felt really bad. These kids that I'm going to be showing you, let me sit in this kind of a position. Yeah, these kids you're seeing here, yeah, that guy does lives. Yeah, he does live streams, and in those live streams, he does them like almost every day. And I'm very sure, because before I had come through, he had already started going live. And I we usually see these kids, yeah, and these kids stay on the streets. These kids stay on the streets of Kampala, and I really feel very bad, because this guy is always live on TikTok. He's always live on TikTok. I'm going to be showing you a couple of I'm going to be showing you a couple of these videos, yeah? I want to be showing you a couple of these videos. We are going to just be going through all of them, yeah? And then you're going to be seeing. These are kids, and these kids, by the way, are here in Uganda. They are here in Uganda, and once in a while, of course, what happens is that, he helps. Now you can see them sharing food there. When he comes live, I'll make sure that, I take you guys and watch this. What really hurts me is, yeah, that they also have parents. Some people are in love, because you cannot have the sexual intercourse minus love being there. So maybe there were some two people who really fell in love. I don't know, even if it wasn't falling in love, but they got involved in the action of love, because I don't think you can sleep with someone maybe at a smaller extent. You can sleep with someone and then wait for the 9 months, and then give birth, yeah, and then you drop the kids. Yeah, some of these kids could maybe, they came from the village. You're going to see one of the videos I was watching today when they were live today, a couple of minutes ago. I saw there was even a kid who was in a mosquito net today, before I came here. And I'm like, imagine these kids also have their parents, yeah, because they didn't. We all know they didn't give birth to themselves, so they have a father and they have a mother, and now they stay on the streets. And those individuals who gave birth to them, they also don't care. They just don't care. You I don't know how you can really give life and then just abandon it, yeah? And you just abandon it. By the way, you could also think on the other hand that for the parents who leave their countries and they go for greener pastures, that maybe that is also fair, but it's also not fair, because by the time you bring this life, it is your responsibility. It is your responsibility to take care of these kids. Now you see them, some of them are less than 10 years. This guy only does this. He only does this. He's on TikTok. He's called the Kampala Streets Media, yeah? Kampala Streets Media. And these videos are always there. He always comes live, more so at night. But look at these pictures. And I'm like, imagine, they don't have anyone, to to give them direction in life. And it doesn't mean that because they are on street, they don't have a future, because we've seen scenarios of people living, the streets and then making it in life. Yeah. Look at this. I looked at these things and I really felt bad. And I'm like, why would really someone seriously bring life and then you abandon it? And when you are in those conjugate, conjugal, conjugal activities, you are enjoying, and then you give life and you drop it. Seriously, you drop it. Look at these images seriously. Whenever he comes, I always watch him. I always watch him. I'm always there and I keep watching, and I'm like, the world is unfair. Because imagine for all the things that you ought to have in life, which would call the basic needs of life, like the shelter, the food, the clothes, they are not assured of any. They are not assured of any. They don't know what they are going to eat the next day. They don't know where they are going to sleep because they sleep on the streets. These are very many. These are very many, many of them. And if you listen to the stories, I don't know what this time around he was saying. That maybe let me get some earphones and I listen to what maybe he was saying. It is really, really, really very absurd. Okay, that is just music, but it really hurts. And for you, you just miss a little bit of things, and then you feel like, man, I saw these videos and I was really caught up because now me, I know what it means, you being there and you don't know what is next, yeah? But now you imagine all the basic needs of life, they are not assured of any. And you don't, and even your parents really also abandoned you. It is really unfair. And this is how they sleep every day. And if they come live, I'm going to make sure we go live with them so that you can also be seeing what is going on. Look at those. It is really, 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 really very bad. And even when the condition is really bad, they are happy and they can smile. So this one is cutting the other one's hair. So please, at least if we could think about it carefully, if we could really think about it carefully, give life that you can support. Not only because most of the women think that if you give birth and the kid has their fathers, they would take care of them. But what if the father abandons you, or they run away, or they die? Then what next? What next? Because now they will be your responsibility. Most of the women think that, again, I'll make sure I have these kids and I take it to the father's place, maybe to the relatives or their judges or any of that. But it's not them who gave birth, yeah. Given the fact that it is their blood, you have all these scenarios that you could move on. But again, why would you abandon the life you brought onto this earth? It is really unfair. It is me. I see this guy. I told you the channel. It is called the Kampala Streets Media. Yeah, I always watch these videos, and I feel bad. Sometimes he records his live almost till morning. Now look at this kid, but also has a mom. Has a dad, but of course they abandoned him because if you like your kid, you will search for them. You will know where they are. But you could find that because the father wasn't ready, even the mom wasn't ready, so they had to move on. So the life they gave to, they also don't care. So please, 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 give life. You can support. If you cannot support, those are the Kampala streets. Yeah, for the people who know, opposite that place there is a petrol station. I think it is a Shell. For the people who know this place, where those shops are. And imagine you wake up early in the morning, you're not sure of what you're going to eat, you're not sure what you're going to be putting on, and you're not sure even of your shelter. Because now, by look of the pictures, I think this was late night, yeah, and now they were preparing to sleep because you could see I've seen a student move. It's like maybe they are after maybe getting done with school. It is really unfair. I can see some of your comments here. Yo, Maureen, Maureen Savila, what's up? How you doing, Maureen? Thank you for the information. Maureen, what's up? How you doing? Winfred Kutesa, yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, Winfred Kutesa is saying it is a shame. It is really a shame. This channel is always live, by the way. I told you on TikTok, it's called the Kampala Streets Media. And this guy is always live. Yeah, he's always live. But why would you really give life and then you move on? And it is the same thing for those people. You give life and then you're like, I'm going to go in for greener pastures. Yeah, you're going to look for greener pastures. You left your kids with your jaja. You left them and then you moved. Maybe you went to Canada or South Africa. It just doesn't matter. And you left them. You are as equal. Yes, you're going to be giving these kids support, but basically what they need is not even money per se. Sometimes they just need that support, being around. Because I was talking to Kotesa Winfred, of course, that is Plates and Places on YouTube, and I was telling her that, it is like having dogs, yeah, because I love dogs a lot. It's like having dogs, and then these dogs, you buy them and give them to someone to help you with them, but you send money so that they can buy them food and give them everything, but at the end of the day you're not there, and then these puppies grow into now big dogs and you've not been around. That time when you come back and you want to see your dogs because there was someone feeding them, these dogs won't know you, and if you're not really steady they would even bite you, given the fact that it's been you supporting them and sending money to buy them food. So now these kids, you would not be around because you went in for greener pastures. You're looking for money to build them houses, send school fees. You send school fees for 10 years. These kids, you come back in the picture and they don't know you. They cannot relate with you. They can't relate with you. Why? Because you've not been around. So this person who has been around is basically their support system. Maureen in Savira is like, that is Uganda for you. Every government doesn't want to know. Every government doesn't want to know. Very true. And because it was not the government who told you to go in for the conjugate, for the fun time when you are having sex with this person, the government wasn't there. The government wasn't there. You met the person, you loved each other, you had sex, and now that you brought life and things didn't work out between the two of you, you move on, even the guy moves on, then you drop the kid. The government wasn't involved. If the government was there and maybe they forced you to have, you know, those that activity, then that is okay. I always look at these pictures and I really feel very, very, very bad. This guy is always live on TikTok. So today I was like, no, let me share this because today Tyler wanted us, to have that chat during daytime, and we did that. So I was like, let me share some of these things because you could be, maybe you went in for greener pastures and you're like you feel like you're working for your kids, yeah. You're working for your kids and you're working so hard. 15 years you're there. By the time, yeah, they know that that is our mom, that is our dad, but they cannot relate with you. They cannot really. You cannot communicate. They don't feel you. So these guys, for us, we just like now. Look, oh my goodness, that was really bad. Let me play for you the sound for this one here.
Mamu pepe changa temwagala palopa. Sugwagame mungenda kulopa ne kugamba kankuweyo olwasa. Bagambye kulopa n'ogamba ko baweeyo olwasa. Mamu pepe changa temwagala palopa. Sugwagame mungenda kulopa ne kugamba kankuweyo olwasa. Bagambye kulopa n'ogamba ko baweeyo.
Yeah, yeah, that is it. Living on the streets of Kampala. This guy is always live. Once in a while, when he's here, I'll make sure that at least I share some of these videos. I share him when he's live, and you get to see some of these things. Yeah, but it is so terrible, so terrible. Of course, yeah, Maureen. Maureen, I always see you here, but it was when today I didn't see you during daytime. I didn't see you during daytime. Anyway, so I just felt like maybe sharing that. Yeah, it is really very bad to give birth, and you're not in these kids' life because the main thing we want to do for them is that nurturing part of it. That someone who gives them direction, but as a human being. Because if you don't have the means, that's why me I kept saying that it is bad. Then them times when they used to say it, and they're like, if you're broke, don't get married, and if you're broke, don't even get a girlfriend. It is unfair because everyone has their right, you know, to do the conjugal issues. But if you're broke, then why are you getting involved? Because you're not able to support these people. You're not able. If you're not able, wait until when you feel you can. Because now these people are going to suffer at the cost of a man. Because, even all the holy books say, it is always the man who is supposed to be a provider, yeah? And then maybe you're having kids, and because as a man you cannot support, so now the mother and the dad all work, and then you get a house help who is supposed to be helping out, yeah? So now your kids are being raised by a foreign person you don't know even about. So what they will learn when they are growing up, it is the house help who taught them whatever they know. And then of course Winfred 3373 is saying Uganda has reduced let me read this very good. Let me read this very good. Winfred is saying Uganda has reduced us parents to just that. We go out and make life better at the price of our offsprings. Very true. Very true. Very true. Very true. And in the name of in the name of I'm searching for a better life for my kids, yeah? Uganda has reduced parents to just that. We go out to make life better at the price of our offsprings. It really hurts. By the way, the person who is commenting there, I learned some stuff from her. So sometimes, when we get our hours back, we'll be able, of course, to be bringing you guys, and then we talk about this thing. But it's really unfair. It is really unfair. I don't know because we are who we are because of where we grew up from. Yeah, you could find someone being okay, having their kids with their relatives, and they are okay with it, and they are fine with it. But remember, now these kids are going to grow up in a way that because I told you, you become who you are because of what you watch, what you read, what you listen to, the kind of people you associate with, and the kind of environment you grow up, from. So now, if you have now, me, I had a friend of mine, but the way he used to do his stuff, he seemed like he grew up with his jaja, yeah, like his grandparents. And at one moment, I asked him, "Did you grow up with your grandparents?" And he was like, "Yeah." How did you know? And he was asking, "How do you know?" And I'm like, "The things you do, I can tell you grew up with your grandparents." Why? Because the character he had and the way he could, do some of the things, I could tell like he grew up with his grandparents. Why? The way he talks, the way he moves, the way he says stuff. There are those things. It's kokoma. Do you know it's kokoma? Now it is our grandparents who know chikokoma. When they go to the toilet, then they use chikokoma. So the guy could sometimes say the words like chikokoma. And I'm like, where could this have come from? Then there are things he would like to eat, and I could tell. So now that means this person didn't grow up with his parents. So now you imagine you have a maid because Now you want to support the so-called your kids, and now you both go to work. You wake up very early in the morning, you leave for work, both the mother and then the father, then you get a maid. A maid maybe you got from Acholi, and you are Wagandas, which is okay. Yeah, because now most of the kids want their kids to be speaking English. It's okay, the kids will learn English. But now he's going to put the Acholi in these kids, the Acholi in her into these kids. And you parents, because you're not there, then at a given time, these kids will be acting a given way. They're having a mix of Acholi and they're having a mix of... And you're like, how did this come about? Because the person who was spending much of the time with your kids was a Mucholi. And maybe they would be more aggressive, and for you, you're more calm. And you ask yourself, how did this happen? But remember, the only thing these kids like from us is to nurture them. So me, that's why I ended up, by the way, after my research, I came to a conclusion that I think it is not right for wives to work, yeah? I think the man should go work, yes, but the women should stay home as the parents, yeah? The moms to these kids should stay home and take care of the family, raise these kids up, because there won't be a mixture of character in them. It really seems, because everyone is saying the economy is really so hard. Yeah, it is true. But now how do you feel when you raise up, I don't want to use that word. You raise up the human beings you don't understand. You're like, where did this even come from? And you cannot, where did this even come? We don't have this in all our lineage. But because you are not around, not in that Uganda, Maureen, you're saying not in this Uganda. I know. So that's why I'm saying, if you're not willing to have kids, yeah, if you know you cannot take care of them and support them and give them full time, better not to have them, because you will give birth to terrorists and you didn't know. You see, Maureen, do you think it would be okay for a broke man to get married? Maureen, I'm just asking, would it be okay for a broke man, yeah, to get married? Initially, when I was growing up, I was like, it would be unfair, Why is it that they want now only the so-called, those who can afford, yeah, should get married, and those who can't afford, they shouldn't? And you notice that those who can't afford sometimes get lots of kids. Why? Because the only happiness they have is when they are with their wives, and then they're having sex. And, that is the best time they are having in life, more so when it is raining. So you end up having lots of kids as a broke person. And now these kids are growing up, and you're supposed to be the support system. It is you who is supposed to support, the mother and then the kids. And because of one, I shouldn't call it a mistake, because of one enjoyable moment, now you're having kids you're supposed to take care of for the rest of your life. That is it. For the rest of your life, you're supposed to be providing for them. Me, sometimes I think about these things. I told places, for some reasons, I don't feel like I can get married. Yes, someone can say that because they are broke. Maybe I'm broke. And she told me, places, yeah, on YouTube. And she told me, give it time. Give it time. Just give it time. The mentality will check when you're ready. Yes, when you're ready, that is okay. But when you're not yet ready, I think when you're broke and you're not ready and you're not yet ready to take care of kids, yeah, financially, plus their mom financially, I think it is okay not even to have sex. If you're broke, I think even the government should put it as a law. If you're broke, you're not supposed to have sex. Simple. Because mistakes happen and we are humans, yeah? Mistakes happen. So now before you know it, you're having a kid. And guess what? It changes a lot of things. When these kids come in our lives, Lots of stuff changed. This is what we were talking about yesterday. And I'm like, immediately when the kid comes in, everything changes. Yeah. Both for a mom and for a dad. Even if you want to be an absentee mom or dad, in one way or the other, unless also where you grew up, you're so heartless, but there is no way you could bring life and then you just don't care. So now, because it was a 10 minutes, because this thing is not even for an hour, but you're going to take care of another human being for the next 20 years. And now, if you're a guy, you're going to have 7 jobs to support this family. You get? To support this family. And you're going to exhaust yourself. You're going to work, you're going to stress hard just to support them. And what is it that you're getting in return? You're working, supporting this lady and supporting these kids, and you're getting nothing in return. That's why I told people yesterday, and I told you that, you know what? The only person who is okay to be better than them is your father. Given the fact that these mothers are always in the picture, but the only person on earth who would like genuinely, yeah, and on a bigger percentage, genuinely, who would wish their kids to be better than them is their father. Do you know why? Even if a father is broke and, doesn't have the next button, but their kids, whether their daughter or their sons, are doing okay, and the dad is doing really bad, the dad will be very, very okay. Very okay. He'll be doing bad, but he's sure his son or daughters are doing okay from wherever they are. He will be fine. Of course, the moms will always want to come in the picture. If the daughter is doing okay in another family, the mom would like to move it. But the dad will be like, no, given the fact I'm broke, I want to stay where I am. As long as you're fine, it is cool. The mom would always want to join, either to join the son or either to join the mom. The only person on planet Earth, yeah, who would love their offsprings to be better than them, it's your dad. Given the fact that, the dads don't have the emotions attached, they are not lovey-dovey, baby, yeah. The moms do that, yeah. Let me see what Maureen is saying. Maureen is saying, I liked the other topic of getting married. I think it makes sense for the man to go to the woman's parents, Kwanjula. Yeah. Uh-huh. Winfred Tessa is saying, we end up finding ourselves out there hustling and handing our kids to strangers so as to make ends meet. And then you end up raising, you know, guys who like guys and boys and girls who like girls and guys who like guys. I said it so fast because I don't want those people to understand. But they like the same sex people, yeah? And you're like, where did this even come from? You were not in the picture from the start. You are not in the picture. So now, because you gave all your time to support them, yeah, to make the money, yeah. So now the money is there, you've supported them, but now what they've turned into, you also don't understand. So why did you waste all this time, supporting these human beings, and now they've turned out to be something different you don't understand? And then you're like, I really worked, I worked so hard for you guys. I wanted you to be okay. I did this and this. I was there in snow. You don't know what I went through. Now you see what this kid is doing. And the kid is like, Mom, me, I want to be a prostitute. That's what I want. And you're like, how? I went out. You don't know what I went through. This kid never told you to go hustle for them. They never told you to go hustle for them. Eh? Read my first comment. Okay, let's see. Okay. It's a shame, of course. Uganda has reduced us parents to just that. We go out to make life better at the price of our offsprings. Then, of course, we have this one here, which is saying we end up finding ourselves out there struggling, hustling, and handing our keys to strangers so as to make ends meet. And the first comment was, "It's a shame." It is really very bad. It is really very bad and unfair. And sometimes, you would feel you're doing the right thing, yeah? You'd feel like, yes, at least I'm providing. But you're providing for someone you're not mentoring. You're not mentoring them. You're not, because I think it would be like, it's like, which example can you say? It's like putting something there and then you don't take care of it. It's like having flowers, and you just don't take care of them and you feel like they have to. The third one, okay. The third one. One, two, three. The third one, yeah. We end up finding ourselves out there hustling and handing our keys to strangers so as to make ends meet. Yeah? Is that the third one, Winfrey? Tessa. 3373. Thank you very much, bye bye, for coming through. I'm really very grateful. That one is there is my sister. She supports in every way. Today we came here, by the way, a little bit late because Tyler wasn't sleeping. Yeah, for some reason she wasn't sleeping. But we were like, no, we're supposed to come through. At least we do our 1 hour. Our 1 hour. But it is really unfair. It is really unfair. Me, I think the best thing we can give these kids is our time, because there you're having memories, yeah? The third one. Because there you're having memories. Because imagine, you grow up and you don't have memories with your parents. You don't have memories. There's nothing you can sit and talk about. Hmm? 1, 2, 3. We end up finding ourselves. That is the third one I'm seeing. Then I'm seeing, okay, Uganda has reduced our parents to just that. We go out to make life better at the price of our offsprings. Yeah, I don't know. We end up, of course, finding ourselves out there hustling and handing our keys to strangers so as to make ends meet. Winfrey, those are the ones I'm having here. Unless maybe one disappeared. I'm not seeing it here. Maybe one disappeared. So it's really unfair. It is really unfair. At least if you cannot afford, yeah, truthfully speaking, me, I come here and I tell you guys, like, true story, because right now I feel like I cannot afford, to date, even to date, because girls have a lot of expectations, yeah? They have a lot of expectations. So, because they would need pedicure, manicure, then those, they want those gifts, yeah, which are super, super exaggerated. Yesterday we did our notes, I remember. And then they have these expectations, which are so up there. Unrealistic expectations. Because she's seeing boys buying their girlfriends cars, and then you of the same age, almost just like her, then she also needs you to buy her a car. Why? Because that's what she's seeing on social media. Really, that is unrealistic expectation. But of course, when it comes back to our kids, the best thing we can do for them is, be there for them, We give them that time. It's very, very important. Yes, money is also good. But anyway, because of the economy, sometimes there is nothing to do. But it is really unfair. It is really unfair. Me, each time I see this guy, I know he will come on live. If he comes live, I'll be showing you his live. I'll be showing you his video live, and you'll be seeing these kids really sleep on the streets till morning. Till morning. No plan B. No plan B. It really hurts. It really hurts, and because of those basic. Now look at these kids. Let me show you some of this. Let me show you some of this. Look at this picture here. Yeah? Look at that. Look at that. Now, in that picture, you can see really very well that I think in that sack there is another kid. Yeah? In that sack there is another kid. Yeah. So now the elder one, I don't know what has happened to that kid. Look at that, really. So now the elder ones are taking care of the younger ones. But if, because this one looks, he's below even like 10 years, so it's taking time to take care of this young one. And then the parents, who took time to give birth to them, just don't care. It's really bad, yeah? Let's go to another one. You see these ones also? Those are by the on streets of Kampala. Some of these places, just like where ShopRite used to be, yeah, then that side where there is a petrol station, yeah, that's where those kids are. Yeah. And then sometimes we are here because you don't have a meal, you don't have school fees for the kids, and then you're like, God, what did I do to you? God, what did I do to you? And you just like, this is really unfair. It is really, oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I had changed. Sorry about that. It's really unfair. It's really unfair. But anyway, I had come up with that. Just talk about it. Let's get kids we can take care of. Let's do that. If you cannot, bireke, bireke. Just leave it. Bireke. Wait, do you know what it means? And then you bring life, and then they have to, to struggle out. It is unfair. You rather be like, you know what? No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. It might feel bad, but it is the truth. How many minutes have we gone? Because we're supposed to do an I don't want you guys to be here for so long. Yeah, we've moved so far 42 minutes. Yeah. We still have our time. We still have our time. We still have our time. So, as we are going to be calling it a wrap, I'm super excited, of course, when it comes, of course, Winfred, yeah. Winfred, I think it's the first time Winfred has come to be with us, yeah? I think it's the first time when we are doing a live at night. But people don't sleep. It is 11:46 and people are still awake. People are still awake. By the way, then at at a given time, I've always thought that when it is at night, people are supposed to sleep, and then during the day, people are supposed to wake up and work. But then I asked myself, who said that at night everyone has to sleep? Who said that at night it's a must people have to sleep? There are people who hustle at night. Now, like me, at this time I can talk till morning. Why? Because Tyler is not distracted. He's not distracting me and he's not disturbing. He's sleeping. So this is the time I have and I can concentrate. And I'm like, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this, and we talk about it bulungi, minus any interruption. And some people are like, no, if it's night, you have to sleep. But anyway, Winfred, Maureen, you're always on. But I think even yesterday you missed Maureen. Yeah, yesterday you even. Hey, yeah, no. Yesterday, Maureen, you are on. Yeah, I remember now. Maureen, yesterday you are on. I told you guys for 2026, this was intentional. I want us to build our community. We want to build a community where we'll be having a WhatsApp group. Yeah, we'll be having a WhatsApp group, but we'll get that WhatsApp group when we get up to 20 people watching. Ha! I'm about to sleep. Oh, when you're going to sleep. Okay. First, we are here. We are going to make an hour, at least when we are here. So I was telling you the reason why I decided we come up with this is because 2026 I told myself that instead of watching all sorts of content, yeah, and there is nothing we benefit out of it. I was of an idea. What if we build a community of even if 50 people or 100 people, and then we support each other in one way or the other, yeah? It doesn't have to be financially, but we support each other. For the people who create content, maybe if you're going to go live or if you put up a video, we can all decide to come and swarm the video and all of us really watch. We support each other. In case there is something that is not moving on right with you, you have someone to talk to. I feel like maybe I want to build a community which is a support system. Instead of people being there and you're watching content and you really benefit nothing out of it, it's way better that you partner with people who support each other. We support each other. For content creators, you put up a video, we support each other. You have something you're selling as a community. Yeah, we also help support you. We open up our WhatsApp group. We support each other. You feel like you want to talk to someone, we support each other. That's why, by the way, I decided to put up my number here. Yeah, that's why my number is here. Here. I did it in because 2026, I want us to build a community because it is really useless, yeah, for you to watch all the videos, to scroll from morning to evening. You've been scrolling, and at the end of the day, 24 hours, you've really made nothing. You've really gained nothing. So I was like, overview, no. Let me build a community. We build a community. 2026 on BCM Uganda, we open up a WhatsApp group whereby we support each other. If someone has something they sell, we would support them. If someone is into content creation, we support them in one way or the other. That's why, by the way, I decided, I'm like, I don't want very many people, no. I want a few, because there we can monitor each other and then we support ourselves. We support ourselves in a given way. But why would you watch all this content, but at the end of the day, you're wasting money, you spend, but you're not earning. You have to pay for data using any telecom company you're using. Again, each time you read something or scroll and see anything, someone is getting paid. But at the end of the day, you don't earn and you don't get paid. So I was an idea. No. Let's create our community. Even if it's with 50 people, that would be a good start. But we'll do that when we start getting on 20 people watching. When we get to 20 people watching, then we will start doing our community. But that's my real WhatsApp number, by the way. Just in case you want child to talk about something, you can always, yeah, go and WhatsApp. So if you build a community, at least it's a support system. Watch something whom you know they have time. You can talk to them and you can share ideas. That makes a lot of sense. Because right now it is 11:51. It's 11:51. So you have a concern. Maybe you have. I think it does a lot of sense. I don't know what you think about that. We will create that group, but we'll create that group when we reach 20 people watching. If we do like 10 videos, and in all those 10 videos we've been having 20 people watching, then we'll start up that WhatsApp group so that we support each other. There are times when people are there and they feel broke and they feel like they want to talk to someone, So with me, we can always chat. We can always chat and talk about stuff. And we all support each other in one way or the other. Because what is the use of watching something and you don't benefit nothing out of it? To me, it doesn't make sense. To me, it doesn't make sense. That's why now I'm so intentional with what I watch, what I listen to, because basically you become that. I've kept telling you that, and I mention it almost every day. So you rather build a community, and okay, I watch Anderson, but if I'm stuck here, Anderson will always come and support me. If I'm coming on lives, then we share in our group. We support each other. Then you're having, and one thing I learned, it is always very good to talk to someone who doesn't know you. To talk to someone who doesn't know you, never seen you, and you're sure maybe you will never see them. But because such kind of people, when you talk to them, even when you're not feeling okay, they will not judge you. But the friends and the people that you hang out with, they will always judge you. And sometimes they know our weaknesses. So when you tell them, I want to do this, they'll be like, Anderson, no, you cannot do that. No, you cannot do that. Because they know our weaknesses and our strength. So when you talk to a stranger, there is a way you kindly open up to them. And you can tell them almost anything. You can tell them almost anything. Because they are strangers. And if it's encouragement and you're like, you can do this, you can do this. There is a way they support, which is different from the person you know or who knows you or whom even you grew up with. Because those ones are judgmental. They judge. They're like, no, you can't do that. That is impossible. So it is better. So that's why I was like, I want to create a community for 2026. I just want a community. And I don't want a lot of people, because if there are so many, you cannot control them. But if you have a few, you can always control. So back to our topic, yeah, as we go and be winding up. I don't know, have we made an hour? Have we made an hour? We've not made an hour. We have to make an hour. Let me check here and I see. Okay, 43 minutes. Yeah, let's be here until we get there. So at the end of the day, please, don't get kids because maybe you feel you're so much in love and this girl is beautiful and you want the kids to look like their mother, or the dad is so handsome and you feel like, you want to get the kids look so beautiful. If you cannot support them with this kind of economy we are having, no one is coming to save us. No one is going to come and support your kids to be like, I'm going to pay for their school fees. You're not on an assurance. You're not on sure. It is supposed to be you to plan for your kids because it's you who give birth to them. You get the point? So it really makes sense when you be like, you know what? I will not have kids, not until I feel ready. You'll be like God. God will help you, yeah? Because kids are blessings, yeah? Kids are blessing, and every kid comes with their blessing. Allah. I'm telling you. Yeah, you won't die, but the kind of lifestyle you want your kids to grow up. I've shown you these kids. They live on the streets of Kampala. Okay, Jesus said every kid comes with their, blessings. Where are their blessings? Hey, do you know why most of the kids even don't go to school and some of them even drop out of school? Where are their blessings? So yes, those things work, but man, you also have to put in a human touch. We are humans. God is a spirit, so we have to put a human touch. At least, don't put God also into temptation. Now you go impregnating every girl you meet. You sleep around with everyone you meet. Because God, every kid will come with blessings. So I'm going to get 20 kids. And then that will mean 20 blessings. Who told you? You also have to be a little bit responsible, I think. Yeah. And even if for a girl, it is the same thing. Yes, it is the guys to provide, but it will reach a time, if the guy doesn't provide and he runs away, then what? If the guy runs away, disappears, or he even dies. And you know what happens when these guys die? Then their relatives will come through and they'll be like, we can take care of these kids. And you know the kind of life that they will live. Because no one can love your kids more than their parents. Truth. If you have an auntie and uncle, no one will love your kid more than their parents. Point blank. And now if the parents, don't like them, then no one likes them. If the mother abandoned them, their father abandoned them, no one is going to love them more than their parents, because it's you who gave them life. You basically created them on behalf of God. So you have to be the first person, to give them direction, to nurture them. So now if you're not in their lives, I'm telling you, no one will love them more than you. So that's why you have to take caution, when you're getting kids. Yeah, it sounds bad, just like how I told you. If you're broke and you don't feel ready, don't have sex. Work hard and work for it. And when you work hard for it, then let this girl come in your life when you're also good. Then that is nice. Why have all these kids and you cannot support them? That is the truth. That is the truth. By the way, we always do these lives at night, every day. They are supposed to start in at 8, but sometimes we start at 10. Yeah, depending on the day. Yeah, but they're supposed to be starting in at 8. So unless you have something to say, but think about it. These things, we can talk here. Because everything that I'm talking about, I've either experienced or gone through it. There's nothing that I talk about and I haven't gone through it. It's because I've gone through it. Now I feel like understand it to talk about it. And some of these things, before we grew up, they used to tell us, don't do this, don't do that. There, you have done this, that you're going to do it wrongly. And we could not understand. Not until we grew up. And now we started realizing that whatever they were telling us was really true. But now, sometimes it was too late and we cannot change nothing. So for you, if you have an opportunity and maybe you can reason, yeah, weigh those things and be like, what should I do? What should I do? As I told you yesterday, these girls will always leave at any point. They will always leave at any point. As long as they notice you cannot provide enough, sweet, they leave for the next person who can provide better. So having kids, it is something. And it is also very important before even having kids. This, I'm going to say it, and some of you might think maybe I'm a little bit stupid or mad, but this is very important. There's a woman on TikTok. She has a kid. I think it's a girl. A girl is like 4, 5 years, but the girl has, I don't know, autism. Yeah, the girl has autism. There's another one I saw. Of course, their kid also went in. I think they went to India. The kid is having sickle cells, and it's not just a carrier, it's a sickler. So before even bringing life, and when you feel you're ready, then you can do some of those tests. You do those tests, yeah? You check, you see, is this lady a carrier to sickle cells? Am I a carrier? Are they sickler? What is, those tests? They might seem funny, because God is the one who decides which kind of a kid you get. But before you know it, you're going to give birth to a sickler because you did not do those tests. It's very important. Very important. And those tests are not that expensive. Go with this human being you want to have kids with, a husband and a wife, a girlfriend and a boyfriend. Just like how you go and do the HIV test and see some of the people right now move with the kids. Yeah, they move with the HIV kids. Just like how you move with HIV kids. When you know that now you feel ready, you can have kids, go and they do those genotype tests. Genotype tests. They do those genetics tests. They see what is it that you're carrying, because then they will tell you you have high chances of having kids who are sicklers. Let me tell you, there is nothing that hurts seeing your kid not okay and they are sicklers, basically having sickle cells, and there is nothing you can do about it. And then you spend a lot of money trying to make this kid, be okay, but you can do nothing. I don't know how autism comes about, but I think the doctors can tell. They can tell that, you're going to give birth to this kind of a kid. They get to know. I saw one, I think that they were in USA. Immediately when the girl was pregnant, the doctors told them that, you're going to have a kid, but the kid is going to have autism. So now, wait, be like, because of love, can I really get kids with this guy or this girl? And I don't care about, what will come up. Because I've seen this lady on TikTok. The kid has autism. Another one, the kid is a sickler. And then you waste a lot of money. And for us, we don't care. But just like how you do the HIV test, just like how you move with your kids, you can do those tests. I'm telling you, you can do those tests. It will save you a lot. Though we don't do them. Okay, most of the people don't do them. But it is important if you feel like you're ready. Yeah, and you do those tests. It's really very important. Don't forget, some men lay eggs and live before even the eggs hatch and put us in all these different states. Good night. It was nice being with you here. Yes, sir. Good night, Winfred Kutesa. It was really very beautiful having you here. I'm really, 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 really overwhelmed. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here. Good night. good morning, good afternoon. It was really, really very beautiful having you. So, guys, I'm telling you, it is good to do those genotypes. They are called genotypes. Before, if you're ready, most of us, I told you, 85% to approximately 85 to 95%, the kids we give birth to, they come as a mistake. We get scared. Oh, you're pregnant. Even the girls, they get scared. I didn't know. 85 to 95%, we are mistake by birth, yeah? They gave birth to us, but it was by mistake. We were not planned, yeah? The pregnancies were not planned. So it is the same thing. So if you want to plan it out, because you know what it means, giving birth to a sickler, and then you sell everything you have because you love this kid so much, and you needed little money to go for those tests, to go for this. Me, with my madness, I always want to know, at your home, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have? I have to know. Because then you see the chances of you having the same kids. So if you know you're a carrier, sickle cell carrier, you could be okay just like me. And then you get a partner who is also a carrier. Carrier, just a carrier. You don't have any signs and symptoms. You're doing okay, but you're a carrier of sickle cell. And now you get together and you didn't do the genotype testing. You give birth to a sickler. High percentage, 50-50. If you're a carrier, you stand chances 50-50 of giving birth to a sickler. Guys with autism, you give birth to a kid with autism. But why would you really feel good seeing your kid? And you're going to suffer for the rest of your life because you have to take care of these kids, you know? So now you abandon them. But you could prevent that. You could prevent it. Before you go, you tell the doctors, we want to know our genotype, genetics, those things. And you're like, please, can you do those tests? It could be a little bit expensive, but of course it doesn't. It's not more than 600,000. That is with Ugandan shillings. Then they do those tests. Then they tell you, you give birth to a kid, you don't stand, okay, you're not a sickler, you don't have this, you don't have this, the lady doesn't have this. You do. Just like how people do thorough checkups. Some people do thorough checkups. That's why sometimes women find themselves in a corner when they find out that they have breast cancer. But you can go to doctors when you're okay and you're like, guys, check out breast cancer. Then they check and they see. Sometimes they go around, they even teach you. And for like breast cancer, sometimes in some of the hospitals, it is free. You go do those tests, you lose totally nothing. So now you're going to give birth to this kid and is a sickler, is having autism, plus the rest of other diseases. And then you could prevent it. You could prevent it. You could prevent it. Now there are some dwarfs, yeah? I think they are also in the US. But they are really dwarfs, but again, very complicated, yeah? They are very, really, really, both the husband and the wife, really, they are dwarfs like this size, The wife is this size. The husband is like this size. And then they decided to get pregnant and give birth. And then the doctors told them, whatever you're going to give birth to, it's not going to be okay. They advised them not to. But because they really, really wanted to make a family, they are like, whatever comes in, it's okay. But now you imagine, what would you allow someone to give birth to you when you're all crippled, you're a dwarf, you're a sickler and all those? Really, really, that is torture. That's bringing someone to life and it is torture. Seriously, it is torture. So there you rather be? No, I'm not. So at the end of the day, I think, I don't know, but please just don't give birth if you know. You see, some people do abortions, yeah? Okay, some countries they allow them, some countries they don't allow them. We don't know what what these kids will be. Yes, but some of the things we can control, I think we can try to control, yeah? Some of the things, as long as we can control them, let's control them before it is worse. I know most of you like here, I don't know when was the last time you did a thorough checkup. Who did a thorough checkup? A body thorough checkup? and you've ever done it once, who has ever done that? You can put that in a comment, in the comment section. And you've done a thorough checkup once. Thorough checkup is like they are checking everything in your body. Who has done that? I'm very sure it will be like 0 to 1 person. I did that like a couple of years ago. Like I did a thorough checkup like 3 years ago. A thorough checkup. Liver, the kidneys, the heart, everything. And I did that checkup because I used to drink a lot. Yeah. So I wanted to know if my body is okay as I progressively try to quit. So even when we were getting even when we were getting Tyler, my son, I made sure at least I get to know the background of his mama. I made a simple, background check. Because I didn't want to give birth to something I don't understand. That's important also. Some of these things can be prevented, and then you go through all your life treating a disease you didn't know. They cannot. Doctors can tell you. Doctors, by the way, doctors can tell you whether you're going to give birth to a tall kid, a short kid, a brown kid, a chocolate kid. They can know, by the way. And these tests can also be done here in Uganda. There is no rocket science there. No rocket science. I'm telling you, no rocket science. It can be done. Those tests can be done. Just that here we want to go to the hospital when you're sick. We go to the hospital when we don't feel okay. But still, those tests can be done. They can know you will give birth, but your kids stand a probability of having diseases as follows. This. It is very possible. And those tests are not expensive. That's why now, in the West, if they want to give birth to blue-eyed kids, they can do that genetically. They want to have blonde-haired kids, they can do that genetically. That's why I'm telling you it's possible. It's possible. And it is science. And if I can explain to you that science, it can make some sense. You imagine you're very tall, your dad was very tall, your mother is very tall, your grandparents were very tall, then you have this man, the mother was very tall, the dad was very tall. Like in all their family, their lineage, they were all tall. Then you guys are getting married. You stand high chances. High chances of getting up to 6 feet kids. Very possible. Science explains it. Very possible. And then it is genetics. We studied these things, I think. Was it in primary or secondary? I think it was in secondary. Maybe secondary. We did that in secondary. Now I did sciences, so I don't. I think it was in secondary. That is genetics. So you can get to know those things don't lie. Because if you are an albino, your father was an albino, your dad was an albino, your mom was an albino, your grandparents were albinos, then you get to a guy, the same thing happened. Of course you're going to give birth to albinos. The science says it. But of course, if you had one of your grandparents was an albino, then you get to this person, they've never had an albino in their lineage. If you make science, it will show that you stand 0.05% of having, an albino. So those things, but because we go to hospitals when we are only sick, but these things you can find out. Me, I've seen people, and maybe because some people don't go to school, or maybe they don't think about these things, but people should be how they call it? Sensitized. People should be sensitized. Because there is nothing that hurts having a kid and is having a given disease that is genetic, and that would have been prevented. So these dwarfs that I've told you who are in the US, they decided to give birth. But of course, they told the girl that you stand 50-50 chances of making, okay, like 90 chances of dying. You stand only 10% of you surviving. But again, the kid you're going to give birth to is going to look like this. The doctors told them, and that is the exact thing that happened. The kid they gave birth to was really not looking normal. I don't want to use bad words, but the kid wasn't normal. So these things you can really dodge them. Yeah, you can always dodge them. You can always dodge them. I feel good now. We've of course gone for an hour. We've gone 1 hour 10 minutes. Of course, I've been here with you, and I always feel excited when you guys are here. I feel really good when you guys are here. More so when you comment, that I get to know that I'm having this person here, then I'm having this person here. So today, of course, Maureen was here. Of course, Winfred was here. So I can tell who has been here. But when you don't comment, I don't know who has been here and who hasn't been here. But if you comment, I feel good. Like I know who has been here. It makes me feel happy to know that I'm not talking by myself. So my name is Luze Andrew Anderson. I'm always here at night, starting from between 8 to 10. I come here, we have some chats, we talk about different things. The main reason why I come here and I do this live, because I want to create a community whereby it is us, yeah? We have chats, we talk, we build a supportive team, yeah? We support each other. Financially, not really there, but we support each other in things like, spiritual support, come up with ideas, different things. That's why I put my number, this number here. That is my WhatsApp number. At any time, you can always WhatsApp me. We talk about different things, as long as they add value to us. Anything that doesn't add value in us, I don't want to talk about it. Gossip and all that, nah. We have to do things that add value in us. So I want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night from wherever you've been catching me from. There are those who come and they just peep, yeah? They want to see what is going on. Yeah, no worries. That is also very beautiful. I feel nice when you pass through and see what is going on. So until when we catch up, I remain Luze Andrew Anderson. And I'm grateful for the people who have been here. On TikTok, we use Anderson Luze. The channel we are on, BCM Uganda. My WhatsApp number, it is the one there on the screen, plus 256-775-8645-72. That's my WhatsApp number. So I want to say bye-bye. I'm going to go watch some Nigerian movie. I always watch a Nigerian movie, then study a little bit, then get some inspirational stuff. Then I'll sleep. Yeah. So for the people who watch these videos when they are done, you're the bestest. You're the bestest. For the people who watch the videos when they are done and you watch the whole of it, that is really very beautiful. And you should always put a comment, by the way, so that I get to know that you watched. Because I'm building a community, every comment I reply it. I read every comment and I reply every comment. But when we are live here, when we are here, of course, I reply you immediately. So, of course, it is 12:16, yeah. 16 minutes past midnight, that's the time. So that's when we're going to be stopping. So I want to say thank you very much. Salute. Love you so much. Love you so much. Love you so much. Until when we catch up, bless